The Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to his disciples, "To you who hear I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. To the person who strikes you on one cheek, offer the other one as well. And from the person who takes your cloak, do not withhold even your tunic. Give to everyone who asks of you, and from the one who takes what is yours, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. For if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do the same. If you lend money to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners and get back to the same amount. But rather, love your enemies and do good to them, and lend expecting nothing back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High. For he himself is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Stop judging, and you will not be judged. Stop condemning, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and gifts will be given to you. A good measure, packed together, shaken down, and overflowing, will be poured into your lap. For the measure with which you measure will be in turn be the measure for you." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Dear brothers and sisters, good morning to all of you. When we hear today's Gospel, our first reaction is that we heard very, very beautiful words. What are they? Love, blessing, pray, giving, doing good, do not judge, forgive. These are the words that we heard in today's Gospel. They are very beautiful, very beautiful. We all like to love people. We all like to bless people. We want to do good. That is why we heard beautiful words from today's Gospel. But Jesus, in today's Gospel, when he explains or elaborates or give a different meaning to these words, we think that it is impossible. It is impossible for us to practice or do the teachings of Jesus. What are they? Jesus is telling us, love your enemies, do not judge, forgive the other people. So it is very difficult for us. So let us try to take the help of the readings and see how we can follow the teachings of Jesus, and most importantly, when we follow the teachings of Jesus, what will be the reward or what will be the result? So to understand this, let us go to the first reading. In the first reading, we heard that David forgives Saul, because David says that Saul is the anointed by God, chosen by the Lord. Therefore, David forgives Saul. Now, the forgiving of David tells us that he was able to control himself, so the self-control, and he was able to forgive the enemy. He was able to show the mercy to the person who does not like him. So, what is the background for this one? The people of Israel were led first by the Moses. We know in the Old Testament, Moses was leading the people of Israel into the promised land. Then afterwards, what happened? After Moses, we have several judges. And the last judge was the Samuel. Now the people were asking Samuel, ask the Lord to give us a king. And when Samuel prayed for a new king, God has anointed Saul. God has anointed Saul as the king of the Israelites. Now, when Saul was king, there was one young guy called David. And many people liked him because in the war, he was able to defeat and kill Goliath. And he was able to save the people. Now, when the people saw the heroic things from David, they liked him. In fact, they wanted him to be a king. But then when Saul, the king, heard about David and his reputation, he did not like him. In fact, he wanted to kill David. So Saul wanted to kill David. Therefore, he was in search of David. He was going and searching where David was. But it so happened that one day David went into the camp of Saul, and when Saul was sleeping, David had the chance, 100% chance to kill him. But David did not kill him. David forgave him. David has shown mercy upon Saul, the king. You know why? David said very clearly, he was the anointed by God. He was chosen by the Lord. He was anointed. He belongs to God. Who can lay hands upon the anointed one? Even though he had chance to kill Saul, he did not do because of these reasons. Now, this is the sense of justice from David. This is the spirit of forgiveness from David, because he has recognized the anointed, the chosen king by the Lord, and the forgiveness. So David has shown forgiveness, and later on we will see in the history that David was blessed and he himself becomes king later on. Now in the gospel, Jesus continues this teaching. Now to understand this one, we have to connect it to the last Sunday's gospel. Last Sunday, we heard about the Beatitudes. Now in a simple way, the Beatitude means being happy, or the person who wants to be happy. And what Beatitudes tell us that those who trust in the Lord, those who believe in the Lord, are the happy people. Whether you are sick or healthy, whether you are rich or poor, whatever condition you are in, if you trust the Lord, if you believe the Lord, you are the happy person. That is what the Beatitude tells us. Now in today's gospel, Jesus tells us, he continues to tell us how to be happy. He says, do to others what you would want them do to you. This is the golden rule. We want everybody to treat us well. We want everybody to love us, appreciate us. And Jesus tells, if you want like that, you also do the same thing. And Jesus also tells us, love your enemies. Pray for them. Treat them well. Sometimes when we hear the names of some of the people, we can't even stand. When we hear the name of some people, we get angry. We lose patience. We lose our peace. We tremble because we cannot stand. even the name. And Jesus tells us, do not judge, you will not be judged. And do not, so forgive the other people and you will be forgiven. So when you hear this teaching of Jesus, you will tell me, surely, Father, it is impossible. It is impossible. How can you love an enemy? How can you pray for them? I can't even stand to hear the name. How can you pray? How can you forgive the person who doesn't like you? So Jesus tells us that what is the difference between the other people and you? Because the others also are doing. But if you want to make a difference, if you want to make a difference, follow my teaching. Now we want to know, okay, I will follow the teaching of Jesus. What is the reward or what is the result? That is very important that each one of us want to know. So in the first reading, David forgave Saul and later on he was blessed more and more, and we know the kingdom of David very, very large. He also became the king. Now in our own life, practical life, we want to know what is the reward, what is the result. If I pray for my enemies, if I forgive them, if I love them, if I treat them well, what is the result? What will happen? Now, if you look into our own lives, now what Jesus is telling is we have to reject the hatred. We have to reject the hatred, because when you keep that hatred, that anger in your heart, that will destroy you. That will destroy you. Reject the hatred. Reject the anger. So what will be the result? You will be healthy. You will have peace in your life. You will be happy. When you feel sick, when maybe sometimes before the operation or when you go to the doctor and so on, I'm sure the doctor also will ask you, is there anything in your heart that you are angry with someone? Is there anything that you are holding so terribly? So the doctor also will tell you, leave everything. Leave everything. You will have a healthy life. Dear brothers and sisters, when we reject hatred, when we reject the anger, the result is the healthy life, peaceful life, and we will be happy. So this is the teaching of Jesus. It is difficult, but it is possible. It is possible, and the reward is great. I am sure all of us want a healthy life, a peaceful life. All of us want a happy life. And when you want these things, when you want these blessings from the Lord, let us follow the teaching of Jesus. Jesus on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. So he was able to forgive just minutes before his death. He was able to forgive. Now the second reading tells us finally something very beautiful. Adam has chosen not to obey God. So the result of disobedience is the sin and the death. But Jesus has chosen to obey God. The result of the obedience is the grace, is the blessing, is the salvation. So dear brothers and sisters, the gospel is giving us a big challenge. If to choose to follow or not to choose to follow. If we choose to follow the teachings of Jesus, we become disciples, we will have a healthy life, peaceful life, and we will be happy. I hope all of you read again the readings and try to meditate and pray. I'm sure you will find the consolation that you are looking for. God bless you. Have a good Sunday.